Tyson Fury versus somebody you know very well, Muhammad Ali. Obviously, you promoted Muhammad for a significant portion of his career. You said that you felt that Tyson would give Muhammad Ali problems, or Ali would struggle to deal with Tyson Fury. Just to explain those comments.
Anybody who says they know how a Fury Ali fight would have turned out. I'm talking obviously hypothetical fight. Really doesn't know what they're talking about, because the size of the fighters. Ali was about 6'2.5", 6'3", and he fought fighters either smaller than he was or the same size, like Kenny Norton. They were big guys at the time, 6'2", 6'3" guys. They never faced a 6'9" fighter, particularly ones that have the skill sets that athletes do today. I mean, you never had in Ali's day a guy who was 6'9", no matter what sport he played, who was agile. I mean, a basketball player who was 6'9" was a goof. He couldn't do anything. These athletes, those big athletes, couldn't move. We had some big guys later, like this big Russian, 7 foot. He couldn't get out of his own way. I mean, now you get a guy like Tyson Fury, who is like a dancer on his feet, who knows how to box, who can move. How would Ali do against a guy that big and that overpowering? A guy who outweighed him by maybe 40 to 50 pounds. How would he do? Hard to say, because Ali never had to face anybody of that size and speed before. So anybody who say they know what would happen don't know what they're talking about.
When I spoke to you in Las Vegas, I think it was for Fury Wallin back in September, you told me that this is the most fun that you've had with a fighter since you promoted Muhammad Ali. How are Tyson Fury and Muhammad Ali similar? How are they different?
Well, obviously, both are great communicators. Ali, there's nobody who can communicate like Ali. And the thing about Ali that was exceptional is that he communicated largely in sound bites. He didn't communicate in long sentences and so forth. But what he said was pungent, and it made an impression, and it was absolutely brilliant. But it was also a lot of fun. Now, Tyson is a lot of fun, but he speaks in paragraphs. And what he says often is outrageous, but it's fun, and it's great material to promote with. So they're different in that regard, but each have the ability to attract attention and to relate with the public. And in that, they're both a dream for a promoter. I mean, with a lot of fighters, one has to script them before you put them in front of a camera and before they go on an interview. But that's the last thing that I would ever have thought was to script Ali, because you didn't script Ali. And it's the same with Tyson Fury. I just tell Tyson that he has to be in a place at 10 a.m., but I would never even deign to tell him what to say, You don't do it with guys like that. They know better than you do what to say and how to make the impression that's necessary on the public.
How does that differ in your role, dealing with a Tyson Fury, dealing with a Muhammad Ali, and then dealing with somebody like a Terence Crawford, who's an elite level talent, pound for pound skill set, but is not Tyson Fury or Muhammad Ali on the microphone? I think it's fair to say.
Well, horses for courses. I mean, Marvin Hagler wasn't the most scintillating personality outside the ring. but he was so good in the ring that he attracted a following, and people were sort of intrigued by his personality in a lot different way from the way they were intrigued with Ali and are intrigued by Tyson Fury. Again, every athlete is different, and every athlete has his pluses and minuses. And with Terence Crawford, it's his performance and how he reacts after that performance, and how he relates to a fight that's coming up, and how he explains that. It's different from those guys like Ali and Fury, but it's still valuable.
Is there one in particular moment with Muhammad Ali that jumps out at you, or anything that you'd like to share?
There's so many. There's so many. I remember, I don't know why it popped into my head now, when we were in training for the fight in London against Brian London, that we were staying at a hotel, I think the Marble Arch Hotel. I don't know if it still exists. Well, that's where we were staying. And Herbert Muhammad, Ali's manager, said to me, we have to, Ali's been approached by this very wealthy Pakistani man who invited Ali and myself to lunch on a Sunday. And we would love, Ali and I would love for you to come along, because this is a big, high-powered businessman. You'll be able to talk to him. And I said, okay, I would go. And we had a car, and we go into this neighborhood, and there was, little homes and that kind of thing. And, nowhere that a big businessman would live. And we come up to this, got dressed, come up to this little house, one of these row houses, and this guy comes out to greet us, and I realize immediately that Ali's been had. So I'm a little chagrined, but I say nothing, and we go into the house, and they had set lunch, and there wasn't enough seats around the table for all of us. It was that small a house. But the guy had a piano, and he also had a daughter, a very attractive daughter, which was the purpose of this meet. He wanted Ali to meet the daughter, to because Ali was single at that time. And Ali knew he had been had, but wasn't going to disappoint this guy. He stayed at the piano and played songs. He did magic tricks. He entertained. He was, in a nice way, this daughter. And finally, after an hour and a half or 2 hours when we left, I said to him, Ali, you've been had. We went to this guy's house expecting something completely different. And Ali said, no, Bob, that's an experience that I'll remember, and that's an experience that these people will remember all of their lives, and it was worth it. And so now, here I am, almost 50 years after it happened, and I'm still talking about it. So Ali was right.
Okay, just before I let you go, Bob, I've got a couple of really quick questions. We'll have to catch up again while we're in this godforsaken lockdown. If Top Rank's office was burning down, Bob, what would you grab and why?
I maybe grab my jacket and get out, but we have our great library with thousands and thousands of the films of fights that we promoted. Must have 12, 14,000 great fights. Those are locked and sealed in special room that's fireproof and earthquake, so I could leave them there. Everything else, you know, if it burns, baby. You know, it's fleeting. I would just grab my jacket and leave.
That's a good answer, and yeah, I did notice that it's on the ground floor, isn't it? All of your archive of
Right,
all of your old
right.
photos.
It's all, you know, really, we spent a lot of money when we built the office for that room, you know, that whole part of the office. So yeah, I think that. Thank God, those tapes and everything will be saved. I mean, you know, there's some great memories with those fights. When I first started doing Ali's fights, there were no satellites. We had to fly over the tape of the fight to London. And if we missed the last plane out of London, so it couldn't get into London the next morning, and instead we had to do it the next day, they docked us, the BBC, 50%. So if we were getting $50,000 or 50,000 pounds, it was based on them showing it the next night in London. And if we missed that plane, they cut us to 25,000 pounds. So that's why we were always yelling for Ali to knock the guy out so we wouldn't miss the plane.